And we are live, Mirrored Soul Q&A. I'm here with story consultant Not Donuts
Hello, hello.
and other
Not
story consultant Zerkalda.
Good to be here. Good to
Coolio.
be here.
Yeah, no. These were some of the, for context, these are some of the first MFs that I told about Mirrored Soul as a concept to begin with, like, ever in my life. Like, we're talking like straight out of high school. Um, we were roommates for a short amount of time back in I think like 2019 or 20 or some shit. But
Not in that way.
shut the fuck up. Cool.
Oh no, they were roommates.
With fucking friends like these. Okay.
uh,
Yeah.
oh man. But yeah, it was think we had met as early as 2018, late 2018. Time is an illusion. But
Okay.
yeah, it
I mean, like,
just
I can never forget the first time you and I met, ND, when you fucking put me on the Sword Art Online abridged. God.
Oh man.
Fucking fun times. But yeah, for more context sake, without these two guys, Cecil, the main alcoholic, comedic relief protagonist, he would have been the straight man, and Spot would have been the funny guy. So yeah, I think it was Zerk who posited the idea that it should be fucking
Yeah,
Flopping that around,
that
yeah.
switched around. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
originally the characters were you're gonna have Spot be the
Mhm.
wacky zany one to Cecil being a straight up hardball detective, and
Yeah.
I remember at the time I started watching Columbo with Peter Falk, and that's where I had the idea that what if we change it around and make it where Spot, especially for where Spot as the character has to go and what we learn about him, have him be the straight man to Cecil being the
Yeah,
comedic
yeah,
one. And
yeah.
I remember I phrased it as being like, I think to be a detective, you kind of have to be a little
Sure,
crazy.
sure. And that's kind of funny because I didn't know actually until just now that
Hmm.
Columbo was your main inspiration because I actually referenced Columbo twice in the game.
Hmm.
The first is fucking that dialogue with that owl dude in the Second Kingdom, Hublin. Um, there's a little piece of dialogue where like if you if you there's some shit about like he guesses your name, he guesses like, oh, you seem more like a Dick or a Columbo.
Hmm.
And then the second one is in the final spoiler alert, penultimate, I guess, battle with Drake slaying the fucking tech CEO. Um, Cecil, after his whole interrogation, and he has him cornered, he says, "Oh, just one more thing. How did you know my name?"
Hmm.
So that's pretty funny. Damn. I mean,
Oh
then again,
yeah.
I guess it's hard to write a detective piece without referencing Columbo in some way, shape, or form nowadays. So
Hmm.
Well, I think it would
It,
also
it's
help the characters.
sure, sure, sure.
it's funny the I gotta admit, I still haven't seen Columbo. I guess I
Oh,
need
need
It's
to.
a
dude,
it
come
is a good ass
on.
series.
The sort of the gap between uh, you know, Spot being just a little guy, a creature, if you will, and
Yeah,
just
yeah,
like
yeah.
being the serious one, just like it really it's
Well, I mean,
I
like,
I remember going through that doc of like things they would say to each other,
yeah.
Mhm. Yes.
and like we'll figure out where to put some of these
Mhm.
Sure, sure, sure.
at some point, and then the game's made. But the just like who are they in the quiet moments
Yeah,
Mhm.
I think
is
that was a huge thing that like influenced like their interactions was that fucking duck. Like I don't remember
Yeah.
exactly how much of it made in verbatim, but like the spirit of that duck, like with just their like interactions, that
Yeah.
was like ubiquitous. That was throughout the whole ass
oh
game.
man.
Speaking of
I'm
which,
remembering it. Yeah.
Zerk, you made up a
Hmm.
language for the monsters in Mirrored Soul, and I have that
Yeah.
language in the game a few times. Like when they confront the third boss, when they confront the big King K. Rool dude, Amakamut, um,
Hmm.
Cecil asks Spot if they have a bad word for aristocrats, to which Spot says Arurabe, and in your language that translates literally to bitch king.
Oh, that's good. I
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
remember that.
There was also that.
Hmm.
There's also like an NPC
Hmm.
you encounter, like a secret NPC in the Second Kingdom, who's a huge stoner. He's like a fucking pothead. That's the whole joke. Um,
Hmm.
I named him Abatarik, which I think in your language
Hmm.
meant pillar of stone.
Yes. Yeah, I remember the. I think
Okay.
that doc was the big thing where we were trying to get the characters because I remember the problem that kept running into was Spot being the guy who knows, being the creature who knows all the worlds. It was much harder to force him to be zany or wacky
Yeah, yeah,
with
yeah.
it. So then that's where I kind of thought of maybe Cecil should be the one who's reacting weirdly to all this
Yeah, yeah,
instead.
yeah. I mean, because it makes sense. Because like, spoiler alert, Spot is the prince of the mirror world. So like, obviously he's the one with more stake in this whole situation.
Alright.
Hmm.
Let me stop you for a second. I'm just gonna say this flat out. We should have said this at the start. We are like the writers of this game, and this is a retrospective. We're going to be spoiling the entire thing as the
Hmm.
topics come up.
Yeah, fair enough.
So,
That
I
is
should, I should, I should,
okay.
we
I
should have,
didn't
yeah,
even get.
we should have started with that,
yeah,
yeah.
hmm
Well, I mean, we're three of the writers for this game. Greasy and
hmm
Hex also contributed a lot to, like, some of the scenario writing. Most of the
yeah.
monster dialogue, like the actual fighter battle dialogue, was me.
hmm
Most of the
Hmm.
stuff with, like, the Chief and, like, the Valor City stuff was, like, either me or Greasy. And then there's some stuff in the beginning that was Hex. And then, like, the conceptual stuff and, like, a lot of the monster chatter was you guys.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
And
the world building.
I'm mostly talking like we're talking about plot points here, and
Sure, sure, sure.
the three of us were who originally
Yeah.
developed the general flow of this plot and future plots.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
not,
um,
sure, sure,
Which
sure.
we'll talk about
We'll
a
talk about
little
that in a
bit as
little.
much as we
mhm.
can in the Q&A.
For sure, for sure, for
So,
sure. Um, yeah. Before I start with questions, I have a few things I just like to ask you guys. Like,
mhm.
Hmm.
what was the most fun thing for you guys about working on this game? Just like all these fucking late nights we'd spend, like fucking. I'm not disproving those roommate allegations. Fucking
No.
all those fucking just like brainstorming sessions we'd have about the
Mhm.
game. Like, what was the most fun part about that for y'all?
Oh,
I suppose it's kind of a
so
vague, nebulous question. But what were you saying?
Yeah.
give me a sec. Give me a
Sure, sure,
sec.
sure.
It's hard to decide. Uh, I just know what I was doing it, and I enjoyed
Sure, sure, sure.
like the whole process. And
Yeah,
I the like we each came up with plot beats. Zerk was more on lore side of things, and I was more on character and motivations, and like what does this mean? What does that mean?
yeah,
Like why are we doing this? And I like that sort of um, who is Cecil? What is this important to him? How are we pacing this out?
sure, sure, sure.
Um, and I just it's hard to pinpoint really like this
One
is the
thing.
moment.
Yeah,
You know,
sure,
it's
sure, sure. Just kind of the
I can just
experience.
describe the process. Yeah,
Right,
yeah.
right, right.
Zerk.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm gonna be a bit more sappy with it with my
Okay.
response.
Okay, of course. In typical Zerg
And I
fashion.
think, yeah, I think
Mm,
my favorite thing about it was the collaborative process of it, working with you guys on this thing, because, like you said, we were all really more out of high school level. So, and we were all brought together by certain circumstances.
Sure.
And so, working on this thing, it's laid the foundation for our friendship that we have maintained all these years.
Oh God, man,
oh man, it's
I
been.
feel like I got diabetes just listening to that.
I
Well,
I
Close
don't
to a
have an
decade.
EpiPen.
Oh
We'll
damn.
we'll drain we'll drain your blood. Don't worry.
Oh, Zerk the fucking
Mm.
vampire. Okay, anyway. Um,
I prefer Leech King.
Leech King. At least not Bitch King.
All right.
No.
Cool.
Any
Um,
questions now then?
uh, okay, so somebody stop me says, thoughts on Soul Hackers 2. Soul Hackers got a sequel? I didn't know that. Damn, I hope it's really
Yeah.
good and not a total piece of dog shit. You know, if it was a total piece of dog shit, that would really suck. You know, if Soul Hackers got a sequel and it was just really fucking bad and had like a protagonist who like had no personality and had nothing to do with the original game except maybe like a cameo of like the fucking female lead that isn't even like in the main game but a DLC. And also, if the music soundtrack just didn't sound like Shin Megami Tensei at all and sounded more like fucking Nier or something, and you know, it would be a real shame if the game got a sequel and it was like that. You know, I'd really hate that if that was the case. But thankfully, you know, there's only one Soul Hackers game, so we don't have to worry about that.
Uh,
Um,
yeah.
Dr. J says,
Oh, hang on. I got an answer too.
yes, 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 Zerk.
Okay.
So my thoughts on Soul Hackers 2. It would be a good game if it were not a Soul Hackers sequel.
That's a
And that's me being as generous as I can be with it.
fair enough. Fair. I mean, yeah, that's actually a good point. I mean, I feel like
Although it
that's
is oh, yeah, sorry, go ahead.
no. What are you saying?
I was going to say, although it is interesting that you brought up the dull protagonist, because I was thinking about that, and I was like, as I was thinking about our development, that was actually one of the things that concerned me the most about Cecil during our
Yeah.
initial drafts of him being the straight man, was that
Oh,
he doesn't have any personality as a detective.
that's fun. It's like
Because all those guys kind of follow the same trope
sure,
formula,
sure,
because
sure, sure,
they're
sure.
this first supposed to be the one, oh, the audience is following them, but there's nothing pre-established. So I was like, let's make him the goofy one. That gives him personality. And then from there, that flowed into you like wanting, oh, let's give him attitude. He's
Yeah,
punky.
yeah,
He's
yeah,
rude.
yeah, 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 yeah. That's
And
a
so I was like, okay, now he's got a defined personality. He's not
sure,
just
sure,
some blank
sure.
slate.
That's a very, very good point. Um,
Hmm.
yeah, it's funny. The protag in Soul Hackers 1 literally did not speak and somehow had more personality than fucking Ringo. But anyway, Dr. J
Mm.
says, are y'all gonna make an art book? I have been. That's something that crossed my mind a few times actually, and I wouldn't say that's out of the like. Here's the thing: is uh, my buddy goes by Penguin, and I were considering setting up a booth at FanX next year, um, and like maybe doing some promo for Mirrored Soul or something. If I do end up deciding to like bunker down and make like an art book with like certain like thoughts and just like you know analyses about characters and uh, concept art and prototype art and the like. I might decide to like kind of sell it as a collectible item there and like distribute it online a little bit too. I don't know where I would do that. You know, I don't know what kind of distributor sells those things. But I mean, like to answer your question, I certainly wouldn't be opposed. You know, if Mirrored Soul had become more popular right out the gate, I think I might have actually done that a lot sooner. But I mean,
Mm.
for those who are interested in like reading an art book with like developer like insights and commentary and shit, yeah, that would be I'd be fucking down. I'd be so fucking down. Um, any thoughts that you guys have? I mean, like I don't. Did you guys help with any of the concept art? I think.
I mean, I I can I gave commentary on a couple different pieces of concept
That's
art and
true.
like, hey,
That's true. Yes.
this or that monster design could use this or that part,
Yes.
like, and like, but um the I guess the real contributions that we could really talk about uh is that dialogue document
Yeah.
which went into building the characterization of Spot and
Yeah.
Cecil.
Yeah. I that's
Yeah,
a that
because
I should have
everything
yeah.
with us when we were working on, there wasn't really anything solid
Sure.
visually speaking at all. So everything was being traded off like purely through words and thoughts,
Yeah.
Mhm.
and we were just writing those down. And so there was like no visuals to go along with anything we
Sure.
we
Sure. Sure.
had.
if
for our style.
Aside from the hand-drawn sprite, like things that turned into sprite work
Yeah.
later.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I include a lot of that in the art book for sure. I feel like I'd also have to like it would kind of be my obligation to include the primer that language you wrote, Zerk.
Hmm.
Mm,
Yeah.
It would be fun to go back and look at that. I don't know
Yeah.
if I don't know if I still have a
Tolkien-ass
copy of
nerd
it.
shit.
I have the doc saved. I have the doc saved.
Oh, nice.
Oh man.
Cool. Yeah, I could maybe we could just
But
go over
yeah,
that, look over
an
that
art
some.
book would be pretty cool.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
for sure.
I think I got a copy somewhere too, but yeah, it has been a while since I looked through that.
Especially to give a little, not spoiling anything, but especially like if you save the art book for any potential sequels,
Yes.
because especially like with the second one, as we've talked about where we want to go with it and
Yes.
worlds we want to visit or even revisit,
Yes.
it would be cool
Mm.
to see those and the evolution.
For sure, for sure. I agree wholeheartedly. Caps Lock Prime says, my question is a two-parter. First, when did you initially start development on the game, and approximately how long do you think you spent working on it? Well, like I've mentioned before, the game was a brainchild that I had in the middle of high school gym class when I was like 16 or 17 or some shit. And ever since, just from there, I kind of started to just like fucking write in the margins in the middle of class and draw like
Mhm.
shitty little pixel sprites on the computer. I actually tried making the game twice in a program called OHRPGCE or Orphage, as I would always call it, which is just like a shitty RPG Maker clone made by in BASIC by some like I think Russian dude, like back in the early 2000s. Um, that never got anywhere. Eventually, it was 2020, I think 2019 or 20 when my first programmer Hex4F saw me like trolling on 4chan a bunch, like begging for like help with my super epic idea, and just saying like, "Hey man, I feel bad for you. I'm gonna help you with your super fucking game." Um, but
Oh man. I'm glad you chose Godot at the
yeah,
end
for
of the
sure,
day. Holy shit.
for sure,
Yeah.
for sure,
Oh
for
man.
sure. Um,
So to further give insight on
yeah,
that, so that it's been worked on for that long, development wise,
yes.
conceptual wise. Donuts and I, like we said, we came on around 2018, 2019.
Yeah,
So that
they've
alone is about 7, 8 years,
yeah
give or take.
these guys predate these guys predate like in-engine development.
Hmm.
How
Hmm.
long did that again, my perception of time is non-existent. How long did the actual when did I don't think I heard what year actual in-engine development started via
Actual
Godot.
in-engine development in Godot started in 2019 or 2020. I think it was 20 like early, very very early, like
Yeah.
January of 2020. Um,
Hmm.
but yeah, no, the
Well,
game. There was actually like
Time
I
flies.
posted a webm on AGDG, um, the other like a few months before launch, and someone was like, "Bro, you've been working on this for 10 years," and I was like, "Just let me fucking have this, man. Let me fucking have this." Um,
oh man.
yeah. And second,
Well,
says
it
Caps Lock.
manifested.
Yeah, that's true enough. Yeah, I manifested the fucking. Sometimes I do legitimately
Mhm.
feel like I fucking manifested this game's completion just through the sheer force
Hmm.
of willpower and spite. And second, says
Oh yeah.
Caps Lock Prime, where's Kinger? I feel like this is a reference to that amazing digital circus
Yep.
cartoon. Okay, yeah, what?
Yep. It's very good. You should watch it. It
Okay,
is very good. You should watch it.
fair enough. I'll
Mhm.
give it. I'll give it a whirl.
I will not spoil shit. It is very good.
Fair enough. LaRue's Bird says, how did Spot come to be? I mean, like, design-wise, and I guess the idea for a monster sidekick cat thing. Spot was the first character I thought of for Mirrored Soul. I knew that, well, kind of. I knew the game had to be like a noir kind of detective thing in the vein of Devil Summoner, which was one of its main inspirations. I wanted the main character, whoever he was, to have a sidekick who had like a memorable silhouette and looked kind of like impish and a little bit like mysterious and maybe mischievous, like he was up to something. I wanted to create a character who kind of looked a little bit maybe sketchy and maybe a little ambiguous to kind of, spoiler alert, contribute to the twist of like, well, is he good? Is he bad? Is he going to betray me? Is he going to be good? The whole twist with him being the Mirror Lord's son. So, yeah.
What better creature to embody that than a
Than a
cat?
cat, exactly. Than a one-eyed, shit-eating grin, tongue out, like fucking hang in the wind, uh, cat creature. So yeah, Spot was very much he was very much a product of that. He was very much a product of that kind of mindset and mentality.
Did his design change a lot, or were
His
you
design
pretty
was
set
the
on
one
it?
thing that was the most consistent through all of Mirrored Soul. Fun fact. Spot like
Yeah, I was gonna.
I
Mhm,
finalized his design like I feel like even Cecil went through more of a design change, and he barely even has a
mhm,
design. He's just a fucking stock detective throughout Mirrored Soul
mhm,
than Spot
mhm.
did. The Mirror Lord even
Oh,
I changed the
Oh
Mirror
God,
Lord's
yes.
design to reflect Spot because originally the Mirrored Soul the not mirror the fucking Mirror Lord was just some big ass hulking minotaur looking dude with like
Hmm.
two unblinking yellow eyes and like a fucking like hooved feet and shit. And I was considering at some point changing him to be like more like a lion, like a giant kind of creepy lion dude to fall in line with Spot being a cat. And I ran this by Greasy, my programmer, and he said, "No, dude, just make him have one eye. Give him just one eye. Give him a single eye to be kind of foreshadow the twist more. That's probably an easier thing to do than completely changing his design." And so that's how we
no,
ended up with our.
I remember how many iterations you went through on the mirror on him.
Yes,
Hmm.
yes, the mirror on the Mirror Lord's armor, plate armor. Yeah, that did go through a million different redesigns. That's true.
Yeah.
If he's the Mirror Lord, his mirror's got to look perfect.
Hmm. But yeah, that's what I
Oh
wanted to
man.
point out was
Yeah.
I just say too, between everything you've shown us during development as we kept in touch and all this, Spot's design, I don't remember it changing nearly at all. Maybe some
Yeah,
slight
no.
coloration,
Yeah, Spots.
or maybe going from two eyes to one eye, but
No,
that's it.
No,
Spot never had two eyes. He
Spot
had
always
one eye
had
from the
one
start.
eye.
That's why it's called
Hmm.
Spot. That's why his name is Spot. Is because the
Right.
eye. Yeah.
Yeah, like it would be something small like that. Like Spot was pretty much came out
Yeah.
fully formed in all his
Spot was in a
glory.
way
I want to say glory. I
yeah.
don't know.
In a
I
way,
think
Spot is
the
Mirrored Soul. Like he's the essence of Mirrored Soul condensed into one little critter. But what were you saying, Andy?
so the I think what changed I think the only thing that may have changed was the position of that one eye to make it clear that it's not you're looking at a side profile and this is and Spot has two eyes or something.
Oh,
But yeah,
maybe.
like I'm pretty sure like where Spot's eye is and posing was
Yeah.
the sum total of the design changes
Yes.
for Spot.
I do remember it.
Hmm.
That's right. His sprite got a little bit smaller, I think, halfway through development. It started out being like kind of the size of Cecil's sprite, and then I realized it needs to be way smaller.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
But anyway, yeah. So that's basically the story and the lore behind the. Oh yeah. I forgot. I could pull this up in post. There was going to be Spot plushies. My
Yes.
friend. I had a friend who was going to commission some plush dolls of Spot to distribute with the game's launch. That never ended up panning out. I might revisit it at some point, if like maybe at the FanX along with um, the art books. But yeah, no, I there was like a total of two of those that have been made so far that exist in the world. They are both prototypes. I don't think either of them ever came to us, but I have them in pictures. I have pictures of them. So yeah, I'm gonna pull that up in post production to show y'all how the Spot plushies look, and I hope they don't disappoint. Ken, all caps, said, "What were your biggest inspirations for the game?" That is a loaded question, and I can see that you can recognize that because you added a surprised emoji at the end of it. Um, Obviously, the main inspiration for Mirrored Soul is the Shin Megami Tensei series, namely Devil Summoner
Hmm.
Soul Hackers. That game was my only friend for like a solid year or two in high school, and it basically was what made me decide I wanted to make a game in its vein as an inspiration. But there are a bunch of other inspirations, kind of more minor inspirations, like Castle
Columbo, apparently.
Columbo. Apparently, Columbo, yeah. Um,
Hmm.
uh, in terms of gameplay and world design, Castlevania was a huge influence with the kind of crypticism and secrets and kind of how you got to go out of the way to really unlock and unearth a lot of things. Was very inspired by Aria of Sorrow and Symphony of the Night and Harmony of Dissonance. A lot of really kind of cryptic secrets. And also, a lot of the world design was kind of inspired by Dawn of Sorrow, specifically the Mirror Lord's Castle. I wanted the Mirror Lord's Castle to be kind of like Dracula's castle in a way. I wanted it to be like a kind of labyrinthine, kind of maze-like structure that almost feel like it has a life of its own. Um, the Mirror Lord himself as a character was also very much inspired by Castlevania's Dracula. You know, in that sense, like a spot would be Alucard. Another inspiration for the game was a very, very obscure NES game called Monster Party, which has like it's basically like it's kind of almost like a boss rush game. You kind of gotta you play as some fucking kid who meets this monster from an alternate world. Sound familiar? Question mark. And you have to travel to this alternate world. Sound familiar? Question mark. And you have to find a bunch of monsters and fight them and defeat them. And the monsters are all kind of inspired by different like creatures from various like movie franchises. Like there's the monsters basically the Gremlins, for example, and there's like a mummy and a zombie and a Audrey 2 and shit. And something in that game is all of these monster bosses you fight have like memorable quotes that they say before they fight you. Like I think something that's hugely in the spirit of Mirrored Souls. One of the first bosses in the Monster Party is this like dead spider lizard creature that you don't fight, and it because the fight's already over because he's dead, and he has a one single piece of dialogue in the game. It says, "Oh, sorry, I'm dead," and then the boss door opens back up, and you can just leave the room. And I think that kind of sense of humor in that game influenced Mirrored Soul quite a bit. There's a side quest in Mirrored Soul that directly references Monster Party. Fun fact: in this secret temple in the Sand Kingdom, the third kingdom of the game, you can go into these rooms and fight these little kind of hieroglyphs that look like different creatures you encounter throughout the game. But some of the engravings with that should have hieroglyphs just say empty on them, and they say the word empty, and that's inspired by Monster Party, where you can walk into some boss rooms and there'll be no boss, it'll say empty. It's kind of pointless, but I feel like that kind of thing, that kind of world building, is very, very important in the development of any video game worth its salt that wants to have a world that feels alive.
So no, we were not inspired by Pokemon or Undertale or any of that stuff. And
Yeah,
if you
no.
say we are, then you will be thrown into a mirror.
Correct. Absolutely on point. Correct. In fact, what the fuck is Undertale? What the fuck is Pokemon? Don't even give me that shit.
Man.
Cool. Yeah. Umaro says, sequel when? Question mark. That is a good question, and it's one that I'm wondering about myself. I feel like, if Mirrored Soul is to have a sequel, I might call it some really stupid shit like Shattered Soul and the Mirror of Blood. I have a lot of ideas for where I could potentially take a sequel. I feel like all of them would potentially end up pissing a lot of people off. If I do end up releasing a sequel and it does end up pissing people off, rest assured that I am not kowtowing to the expectations or desires of fans, and I'm doing my own thing, and we're all doing our own thing.
Yes, that will be what is happening. Yes, yes.
Yes,
Yes,
for sure.
you're
for
on
sure.
your Kojima arc there.
I am indeed on my Koji. Yeah, I invented the idea called mirror.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
God.
Oh man.
But yes.
Was something to note, like one of the like regrets is like just the I did warn you during development that the giving release dates before you know when something is going to be done is building a type too early, and then like and then it fizzles out by the time of release. If it, no.
Yeah, for like
Mhm.
I mean, and the moral of the story is that not donuts is always right, and I'm an idiot and should have listened to him.
Hmm. Hmm.
And of
Yes, that,
course,
that is that is that is the
hindsight
moral. Yes.
hindsight is always
Mhm.
2020. But
I
yes, rest
I'll
sorry, what were you saying, Zerk?
I'll also contribute this little bit of tidbit. When we were discussing the development of the first Mirrored Souls, we did lay out some ideas on potentially where this could go as a trilogy.
Yes,
Those
correct.
ideas, however, are very much subject to change, obviously.
Absolutely, yeah. So, rest assured, we do have plans for future installments in the Mirrored Soul universe, and we shouldn't say anything too early or set anything in stone too early. Um, but, the sky is blue and the green grass grows all around. Pizza says, is there a secret that nobody has found yet? I'm actually not sure, because um, there's this one guy who's making a wiki, and he's nearly done with the wiki. And as far as I know, the wiki is incredibly comprehensive and includes shit that I even forgot that I even added. So like, I don't know if there's any secrets that have escaped anyone. I feel like there are some references that no one has caught yet. Um, but I wouldn't call those like in-game secrets or Easter eggs or anything. And obviously, I'm not going to give any of them away because then that'd spoil the magic. So yeah, to answer your question, Pizza, I really do not know. I can't say. Y'all have impressed me. Inky the Blue
I kind of
Ghost. Sorry, what were you saying, Zerk?
Oh, I kind of want to bounce on that. For if so, like, let's say if there is a sequel, are there
Yes.
any like Easter eggs or references you want to put in it?
Oh, abso-fucking-lutely, dude. Um, again, like I can't really speak on that too much now, but
Mhm.
uh, fucking, there was some Final Fantasy game that if you saved in a certain room in a certain portion of the game in a certain like far off location, the save file would say secret cow level, like Cloud Strife level 77, the secret cow level. And I feel like including
Mhm.
that something like that in like one of the Mirrored Soul kind of games would be absolutely fucking hilarious. But I
Mhm.
couldn't do just that because it's already been done. But like something like that is something very irreverent and something very jovial and stupid of that vein would be a lot of fun to add.
Or we could do something that's absolutely going to screw with players, like
Oh yeah, like
like when Arkham Asylum, how they made the game crash,
yeah. I mean
and
that's
we could just say it could relabel the file saying corrupted.
corrupted. Oh god, fucking
Yeah,
Eternal. There
that'll
was
go over well.
there's
Yeah,
I
that'll
mean
go
like
like.
Eternal Darkness was an GameCube game that would like do that. It would like fuck with the player through the interface and say like if you try to save the game in a certain spot, it would say like deleting save data, and it wouldn't actually do that, but it would say that. But yeah, it'd be so
Mhm.
Mm.
fucking with the interface in that kind of way would be pretty cool.
Mm.
Yeah.
Oh, well, skipping ahead a couple questions. We're gonna get back to the ones after, but it feels kind of relevant given where we're at. The Jolly Flying Man asks, "I want to say the UI is the coolest part of the game. That's not a question, but I
Mhm.
love looking at like
Mhm.
seeing." Who was like one of the programmers was
It was
the
Greasy
was the
McBeef.
main.
My current programmer,
Yeah.
Greasy McBeef, was the main guy behind that UI design. He was the honestly that guy is like probably the number one reason why Mirrored Soul looks as cool as it does in a lot of places. Like that guy is the heart and soul of Mirrored Soul's visual. The heart and mirrored soul of Mirrored Soul's visual kind of
Mhm. It's visual
dimension,
language.
visual language. Yeah.
Mhm.
Before he came onto the team, it's Mirrored Souls UI was fairly standard, like item, window, menu, kind of JRPG um, fare. And Greasy said, why don't we make it a suitcase? Why don't we make it a suitcase like in Mario and Luigi, and have it like have like all the different files and tools in your suitcase be the different functions in the game. And yes, and if you were wondering, it was his idea to have quitting your game be taking your meds. That was all. That was all Greasy.
I
So
remember the first
Oh
time you
man.
showed us that, and I was
yeah,
like,
yeah,
"Oh boy,
it was
Oh man.
honestly
it's a very good thing we're not a rated game."
I think our official rating on Steam is actually T for teen, or like
Hmm.
Oh man.
um, but or like whatever the PC equivalent of that is. But
Hmm.
Yeah, remember I remember I remember our discussions about whether or not to put swears in the game a decade
Oh
ago.
oh god, I
gosh,
mean like
yeah.
oh god, that's pretty ironic because I had a buddy who like was like introducing me to a friend of his. He was like, oh yeah, here's my buddy a Mammoth. He made R-rated Pokemon.
Oh man.
Did you
Yeah.
throw him into?
Oh, that's a good question. You know, like it slipped my mind at the moment. I was,
Yeah.
I was too
You
busy,
know,
being flattered and shit.
Mhm.
But
but if you see him in reflections, it's neither here nor there.
Mhm. Yes.
yeah, if you see a particularly ugly dude who looks like he would play Pokemon when you're looking into the mirror, and you yourself are not wearing a shirt that has a fucking Gengar or a Charizard or whatever the fuck on it. Uh,
And it's still you in the mirror.
Mhm.
Oh
God.
man.
Yeah. But yeah, no, the UI design, I agree, it is the coolest part of the game, and it was all Greasy's idea. So yeah, shouts out to Greasy.
Mhm.
Greasy McBeef.
Yes, indeedy.
Mhm.
Um, Inky the Blue Ghost says DLC when. Well, I'm looking out of the mirror right now. I'm sorry, not the fucking mirror. I fucking caught up with
Yes, the
Greasy.
mirror.
Yeah.
Into the real world.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm looking out the window
Close
right
out of the
now.
mirror.
I'm looking out the
Hmm.
window right now, and I'm not seeing any flying pigs. So
Mm.
I don't know if DLC is on the horizon or the agenda right now. I'm not seeing it raining cats and dogs or anything. So
I can see the tides haven't reversed yet, so
yeah, yeah, yeah. Like
Yeah.
as as far as I'm concerned,
the
yeah.
water in my toilet bowl isn't going counterclockwise, so
Yeah, as far as I'm concerned, the clocks ain't striking 13.
mhm.
Yeah. It's the. There's not really
There isn't really
much to
room.
add.
Yeah, there's not
Yeah.
really.
It's.
I will
Mhm.
I will admit, we were because towards the tail end of development, we were considering making the final two dungeons, the Mandrake Towers and the Secret Mine level. We were considering making those two dungeons like extra stuff that we'd add later on, like down the road. But we both agreed we
Mhm.
couldn't do that. We'd have to just postpone release by a few months. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, obviously, like if a game releases early access, that's like paying full price for a incomplete product. That is no guarantee of completion. And likewise, DLC, I feel like that's that's for like Nintendo and Sony and like all those AAA.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's for the
And
birds.
we are the design behind the games also. We're like we wanted to put usually it's like we want to put as much as we can in there. So you'd rather have an overstuff than an understuff.
Yeah, that's a very very good way of putting it. Overstuff. Hell yeah, Mirrored Soul 2 overstuffed. Like fucking Devil Survivor 2
Hmm.
overclocked. Mirrored Soul 2
Hmm.
overstuffed. Okay, cool. Um, Snow Moose.
Soul Hackers 2 stuff irrelevant to the original
Stuff.
characters.
Yeah.
God.
Soul Hackers
I don't know.
2.
I haven't played Soul Hackers.
Why did we label it this?
Why do we label it this? Yeah, more like Soul Hackers poo.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I'm like 5 years old. Okay. Snow Moose says, "Are there any
Yes.
games you consider making a Steam bundle with?" That is a great question. I mean, if
What are
the
the top selling Steam games?
yeah, 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 if the there's this indie game called Minecraft. I wonder if the guy who made that would be. I wonder if he'd be interested. No. To
Yeah.
answer your question, maybe like a fellow monster taming developer. If any of those guys behind like Cyrillium or like Monster Crown wanted to do a thing, that would be pretty dope. But I feel like that would require some planning and organizing, so it's hard to really say. Speak on that at the moment. Um, but yeah, Anonymous asks, "What are the teams?" It's a three-parter. What are the team's favorite mons? My favorite mon in the game is Salgorado. He's like a little cactus dude who is also a cowboy and a desperado and has like one eye and he's super badass. after I designed him, I was like, damn, this is brilliant. I love him. That's why he has like a whole there's like a whole dungeon, a whole mini dungeon in the third kingdom, um, like dedicated to those guys and like their antics, and there's a bunch of cool puzzles with them. I may be a little bit obsessed with these guys. I don't know if you, ND, or you, Zerk, are that familiar with that many of the creature designs in the game. But are there any like you guys remember in particular?
I mean, Beetle was
Beetle,
fairly
yes,
iconic, but
yes,
maybe I'm looking for Hawked Cool.
hot,
Hawked
cool,
Cool was I remember mentioning that Hot Cool was my favorite
yes,
design, and you were really surprised because that was the
yeah,
one of the ones you felt like you half-assed by comparison. Is
yes,
like
yeah,
it's funny how that often works. Is that the
yeah,
Mhm. For me, call it. It's going to be This is going to be a more basic answer, but I like Spot
yes,
because he's because of the consistency, but also just because everything about him.
yeah,
I feel like he's exactly the kind of creature you'd be like, I want to hang out with you. I want to walk around with you. I want to just shoot this shit with you,
yes,
and be like, let's go do something.
yeah. Spot's kind of the
Or be
perfect.
like, I want to here, have this steak Spot. Just eat it. Just nom on it and just let me watch you do that.
Yeah, word up. Spot is kind of the
oh
perfect design, low key. Um,
Mhm.
I don't know
Spot
if
with
I'm.
Cecil's hat on.
Oh God,
Yes.
yeah, because he pops
He'd,
out of your hat and
he'd be a
shit.
very
hmm
dapper.
That's
hmm
very funny. I should draw
It's
that. I should have someone draw that or maybe.
like hanging off one ear or something.
What is the most difficult
It's half
feature?
covering his eye and he can't see.
I love that. Okay, second part of the question. What is the most difficult
Mm.
feature to implement? I feel like that is a question that would be more suited to ask Greasy McBeef, who was not on this call because he was behind most of the game's coding. But what was the most difficult feature for me on the like more map design, musical, and like story design to implement? That is a great question. I want to say, in terms of like the game's writing, the final act of the game, I wrote myself into a pickle because I knew from the start the final boss would have to be the player's mirrored soul. It would have to be like a mirror image of Cecil. Um, and originally, my plan in the game was to have that like kind of play into actually the save points. I wanted the save point. The final dungeon in the game is like this mine shaft, this like ancient dark cave where you go and like explore and shit. I originally wanted the cave and the final dungeon to be interconnected through all the save points in the game. I wanted each of the save points in the game to be like a room you walk into and there's like a part of the cave and that's the rest of it's blocked off so you don't know they're interconnected. You think it's caves. But in the final act of the game, you move through the cave and you find it's just a whole interconnected whole that connects the mirror world in its entirety, and that there's a bunch of like and that all the souls of all the dead monsters and shit that you killed have to show up in the and a bunch of shit like that. And I wanted the final soul you encounter to be Cecil's own soul. Um, but halfway, like a little bit into like a pretty actually a big way through development with the whole introduction of the delirium crystals and Mandrake Tech Corps and the phone you get. That plot point was scrapped um, in favor of having the final dungeon be the delirium mines, where you like you go and mine. So like, but that left the fucking actual final boss with Cecil's mirrored soul. That left that as a loose hanging thread, but I couldn't just not have the final boss be the mirrored soul because it's the fucking name. So I changed it to have it just be like a trial, like a fucking like test of character that Almindus sets up, uh, and that was that. And that was kind of hard to it was kind of hard to figure out how to make that work. But I feel like we got it to a pretty good point, kind of a little bit semi sort of. And third part of the question is, are you planning on making a sequel or another game? We already touched on that a little bit,
Hmm.
but yeah. Um,
Yeah,
next,
to reiterate what we said before, we did make potential plans for where more stories could be told with this, and again, we kind of laid it out as a potential trilogy.
yes,
We have had more talks since then, especially more recently, about these ideas, and obviously things change,
For
but
sure,
there's
for
no
sure.
promises. That's entirely up to Mammoth here.
Absolutely. Yep, it's in the palm of my
It's
hand.
it's a matter of if he can import enough slaves to for his sweatshop.
Oh God.
But like the development of the first game took 5 years, like as far as actual like programming to output, and I don't know how much of that can be reused, and like how much it would be a good idea to reuse, like what portions of that would be like better to update, as far as a new game experience. Like we're
Yeah.
talking about the idea of potentially, if we're talking about the idea of potentially making a new game,
Yes.
and it's not, and we want it to feel like a new game, and not just, and not be DLC with new
hmm
characters.
Yes.
There's so much in
The
there has to go on. You basically want to make the jump from Halo CE to Halo 2. Like it's got to be a new experience.
Yes.
We don't want to be Call of Duty coming out with the same thing.
Yes.
and it's the development has not started on a new game in this world.
Correct.
Mhm.
And saying that yes, we are making a new game now, and saying no, we're not, are both kind of untrue, and
Yes.
building your expectations as an audience on what at this point is only hopes is kind of,
Yeah. It would be bad practice on our
we
part.
have, yeah, we have
Like
plans,
the
we have
most
ideas,
the most we can
we
say
are
is we've got
looking at
stuff
them.
written down.
Yeah.
Yes, we
Yeah.
have stuff written down. We are not promising that anything will come of those ideas.
Correct.
Mhm.
So
Um. Ditto says any
I mean,
examples.
unless some great company like Bethesda buys us out, and then we have the infrastructure.
yes,
But you
great
know,
company and Bethesda in the same
Mhm.
sentence.
Yeah. Unless some like genius publisher such as maybe like Nintendo or Comcast or literally Hitler.
Yeah.
Cool.
Oh man.
Ditto says any examples of where the OST impacted the level design or vice versa. One glaring example I can think of that was I composed a theme song for the escape sequence in the Third Kingdom's dungeon, and the intro to that song is like a minute long, and the song doesn't really pick up and get to the actiony part until like a minute in. And so I needed to stretch out the escape sequence to make it so like no matter what, the cool part would kick in before you're out of the dungeon, and that was a pain in the ass. We had to make it the screen like fucking massive. Um, Other examples I'm trying to think of. Um, duh, 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 duh. There was originally going to be the theme song for the portion of the Mirror Lord's castle where you have to fight all the four bosses again. Uh, the song for that originally was different, and we changed it midway through development, or like actually not midway, like more than midway through development, because I realized the I had to have the light my teeth of the boss theme in there, in some way, shape, or form or another. Because if I didn't, that would be a missed opportunity. So I composed a new theme for that, and that's the song. I think it's called Soul Hala in the OST. Um,
Oh man.
yeah, yeah, and
That brings back memories. Just thinking about the OST in general, just
yeah,
Mhm.
like making dinner in my apartment while hearing you composing,
yeah.
uh, like song after song in the
Mhm.
God,
living
yeah.
room.
Good
And
fuck.
then of course, because I remember when it was uploaded on YouTube, and I was like, okay, I'm trying to keep track of all these different tunes and things, but because it's in a you have the like the more 8-bit style with your
Yeah,
music,
yeah, yeah.
which is for me, unfortunately, it is not a music genre I have as much enjoyment for or
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
nostalgia for.
Sure.
And then it was also like, wait, there's nothing I don't have anything along with these tracks, so I just have the names. So I'm like, I'm trying to keep them straight in my head, but you uploaded like 70 tracks.
Yeah, no, I
And
mean
it's
that's
like,
a
oh
Holy
god.
crap.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
yeah, it's a lot. It's a
Mhm.
big ass
Zerk's
list.
wrong. They're all great. Fuck you.
Yeah, I'm not saying they're bad. I'm just saying, yeah, I'm saying on a first drive, I was like, I gotta go back. I'd be like along
Yeah,
like
yeah.
10 tracks. I'm like, wait, how did the first one go again? I gotta go back and
As a
restart.
side note, the game's final boss theme, VPD Megamix, um,
Mhm.
was composed actually like very close to the end of development because I heard the final boss theme from that PS2 Ghost Rider video game, and I was like, this is genius. I need to make something like this. And so I scrapped all the 17 different drafts of the final boss theme I made and made that new song. And I think it was the right decision because a lot of people really like it. Um,
Mhm.
but yeah, Snow Moose says, are there any large regrets in making the game? Hoo boy, we already touched upon that a little bit. Announcing it so early was definitely a regret. I feel like I could have put more effort into the logo design to make it a bit more eye catching. And finally, I feel like I should have made some of the villains a bit more threatening. Like Good Hands, for example, shows up. He's like built up to be pretty big and bad, but he shows up like 3 times in the game, and each time he gets his ass kicked. I feel like there could have been more moments where Good Hands like kind of gets the upper hand on Cecil, maybe, or maybe more moments where like directly threatens the player, or like maybe directly threatens the characters. Um, Also, Drake Slane, I feel like I could have made him more of a threat too. I feel like he was kind of he was the final boss if you're going through the neutral route, but also he's kind of a joke character in a few ways. Like he's just this fucking goofy bald CEO. I feel like I should have maybe made him more of an immediate threat somehow with the storytelling. Um, I call it Dawn of Sorrow syndrome because Castlevania Dawn of Sorrow is one of my favorite games, but it had the same problem where like all the game's villains are like kind of just they're just jobbers and they fucking just go down like a bitch. Um, the Mirror Lord was. I feel like the Mirror Lord I did pretty well, and if there's one guy I should have done well, it had to be the Mirror Lord. So
Mhm.
yeah. And finally, final question.
Wait. Drake Slane's I do have some regrets of my own.
Yes.
Drake Slane's fan club. I they're too much of caricatures.
That's
It's
fair.
bugged me the whole time that they're just like that. Like the way that gag is written just
Yeah.
bugged me the whole time, and I could not. I couldn't think of like more compelling writing for them in
Yeah.
time, and
Mhm.
that's a big regret of mine. Is
That's fair.
the
The
you
scene
know
where they're like OMG Drake Slane we love you, and then the one lady is like I'll be your wife. I guess that might have had a few shades of that might have been a bit weird. That might have been a bit sus. Um,
Yeah, the writing is definitely the regret is definitely that it is a product of where we were
yes.
as because we were still developing where I'd say all three of us where we are now, we have a lot more insight into this kind of stuff and we understand more of how characters would work and other stuff.
Yeah.
Whereas with this, we were so focused on just making it fun
Yeah.
and enjoyable to us that we didn't think about refinement of this stuff.
Yeah.
Which, if we ever did a sequel, that is something I would be very happy to where we could tackle and address more, because it's interesting like where we are now, what we how we'd view these sort of things compared to 10 years ago when we were
Absolutely. Yeah.
first talking and passing these around, and we were more just like, what stands out? What's funny? Hey, what's a cool gag here? Or how's this character gonna make an impact on himself?
Yeah. For sure. For sure. Um,
the sort of like it's like I forgot what I was gonna say. My bad.
no worries.
Wisdom
No.
comes with age.
Wisdom does come with
Mhm,
age. Yeah. No.
mhm.
Wisdom comes with time and age and regret. So I guess
Yeah.
that's their answer to their question. We some regrets in the writing. Um,
but no regrets in really what happened with
No,
it
no,
all.
absolutely
No,
not. No, if I could go back in
Uh,
time and like do anything, and I was offered $1 million to not make Mirrored Soul again, I'd say fuck you, take your milli.
no.
yeah, I can see you saying that.
Cool. Um,
I
I
mean,
was gonna say
taking the
I just
million and then making it anyway.
yeah,
I
yeah,
was gonna
sure.
say you just take I was gonna say you just do the Joker, be like, I'm only burning my half.
Cool.
Hmm.
Minsanity asks, which part or parts of Mirrored Soul did you enjoy making the most? That's a great question to cap off with. I couldn't think of a better question to cap off with. It's a good. I really, really, really enjoyed everything to do with Greenheart, the king in the Fourth Kingdom, and his stupid fucking Scottish accent. And like I have some Scottish ancestry, so I wanted to give him a little bit of preferential treatment. That's why I gave him like his own battle theme and shit, and made him like kind of more of a heroic character in comparison to the other kings. Um, and it was Grease's idea to give him the gimmick in the fight that like have him like do the power limiter break, and like have him be able to use a combo 4 times in one turn. So we might have overtuned him just a little bit and made him a bit too cool. Also, everything in his storyline, like with Shu, with Master Shu, who betrays him, and like the whole fight. You have to again the fight between Shu and Greener was also Greasy's idea, and I was like, that's brilliant. We got to add that. Also, everything with Lysen, the king in the Second Kingdom, and his whole subplot, and how he just kind of keeps just getting knocked down and then getting up again. In the end, I kind of feel like I started rooting for him a little bit. Like this guy's such a pathetic little fucking wimp. Why I feel like he should get at least a few W's, but sadly, the game's story did not call for that, and so yeah, I just
The downfall of our grand king, Lysen
lies
Slander.
and slander. Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, even his name, like it was a lot of fun writing his scenes. Um,
Hmm.
uh,
Uh, Probably my favorite was I wrote the final pre-fight dialogue for
the
Good
for
Hands.
Good Hands, yes, that was a lot of fun writing playing off of that. How his final
Like
motivation
the,
is
the
like,
just the like not only that not just his motivation, but how his warped perception of Cecil was how was how he moved through the world, how he was projecting his perception of like why Cecil is going after him, and how it's rooted in his motivation to kill people.
yeah, yeah,
Just
yeah,
like that same warping affecting his actions and his perception of
yes,
Cecil was fun to write.
yeah. No, it was Good Hands in general was a lot of fun to write. Like as much as I like
If
lamented.
if 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 Mammoth has a pet favorite in the game, it's Good Hands.
That's funny. I always I feel like it's Lysen, honestly, but Good Hands is definitely like a
Mm,
close second or third after Lysen and Greenheart. Yeah, good. I mean, even his name, like
mhm.
his name itself is like based on back when I was in middle school. I did horseback riding, and my teacher would always be like, steady hands," and it when I when I wasn't when I was like letting the reins go too loose, and then when I tightened the reins, she'd always be like, good hands," and that was the inspiration for Good Hands' name, was when she'd say like, good hands, good hands.
I had not heard that before. Goodness.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah,
that's a new factor. But
yeah, yeah, yeah. I
Uh,
thought it sounded pretty. It sounded like it could be some like baseball players like or some sports star's name or like a pseudonym or something. So that was the
mhm.
inspiration for Good Hands' name. Um,
Of course, now today people are gonna make the, "Hey, you want a quickie joke?"
or I was thinking more Becky with the good hands, good
Yeah.
hair, but good hands.
Becky with the good hands.
I don't know. Becky with the good hair, Becky with the good hands. I don't know.
That's pretty fucking funny. Okay.
And so I'd say for me, the part I enjoyed the most was I think the moment when we decided to shift the Cecil and Spot dynamic. Because once that shifted, suddenly all the characterization was just flowing so much easier.
Yes. Yeah. That
Yeah.
was like
That's
something.
where it really hit a stride.
It was like something fucking clicked for sure.
Because like there's always the risk of your connection to to a fantastical world via an NPC ending up being Navi from Ocarina of Time.
Sure.
Like the giving Cecil that kind of reason to frustrate Spot, who has all of this knowledge, that like, and the way that Spot is the mirrored soul, the mirrored lords.
Yeah.
Man, I did it too. But like that nobility piece of things,
Yes.
like being reflected in that seriousness and being like that contrast from the design,
Yeah.
and like allowing that sort of exposition to feel more natural coming from the expository
companion.
NPC.
Yeah. For sure.
Yeah. So that's where I'd say that was my favorite part because, like I said, once that clicked, it was like something just clicked, and we were like, okay, we've hit we hit our stride.
Yes.
This is how we write the interactions with this boss. This is how we write the interactions in this scene leading up to it.
Especially because these are the guys you're playing as, like you said, you're playing as these guys. You need to be enjoying their interactions.
Yes, absolutely. It was also a lot of fun writing the kind of foreshadowing for Spot being the Mirror Lord's kid. Like there are a lot of scenes in the game, a lot of dialogue, kind of clips and quips and shit that like kind of foreshadow it. I'm not gonna spell them all out, of course, because like on a second playthrough, probably anyone with a an eye that can see like maybe like 2 inches in front of them can
would be able
can
to
snuff them out,
spot it.
Be able to spot. Oh yeah, okay. Oh, God. They don't call this guy the
Oh,
Punisher for nothing.
We were so close. We were so close to making it through.
Hey, this is you are friends with someone who used rye bread as a pun for all right, and you've never let me live it down.
Yep.
So
I don't think I ever will, buddy. That was your crowning low. That was like your. I didn't think you could sink any lower than historically, but.
Oh man.
Okay. So that's it for questions. But do any of you two have any closing thoughts?
Oh, just looking at the fact that the game exists.
It's crazy. It's fucking crazy. Yeah.
Just like looking at drawings you made as a kid.
Yeah.
And seeing a game in front of you is just
it's bizarre and wonderful and bizarre. It's like it's just it's hard to really, fathom sometimes, like cuz the fact that we fucking did it, we fucking did it. It's like shit, dude. But yeah.
Yeah, looking back on it, I'm happy it happened because like I said, we've stayed friends because of this thing.
Absolutely, this is the glue that held our friendship together.
And it's the big lesson in like organizing, finding people is like you can just do things.
Yeah.
Yep.
You can like it was a flop.
Like commercially, yeah.
Commercially a flop. And I loved every second of it.
Abso-fucking-lutely. Trade it for
it's
Coolio.
Now the Millie you mentioned wouldn't be half bad, but not the world we live in.
Word up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Anywho, yeah, that's I think that's a wrap. So
All right.
it's a lot
This
of
was
Thank
fun.
you
And
all for
happy
listening.
anniversary.
happy anniversary, Mirrored Soul. In
Never beating the allegations.
All right, cool.
Uh,
Mhm.
Peace.